Kind of monster shoots a woman and shoots the baby.
I'm sorry, I just need 1 minute to make sure I look good. Do you think I look good, Mr. Armstrong?
I honestly feel like they're selling my friend, you know, with him letting him being out. He already committed one murder, comes to a whole nother state and commits 2 more, and there was a baby. I don't feel like they did enough. There was no Amber Alert out for Layla. There was no nothing.
Clark County, Washington. A mother and her 7-year-old daughter vanish without a trace. Mishi Melendez and her little girl, Layla Stewart, were last seen with someone who, by law, was supposed to stay far away from them. Mishi's ex-boyfriend, Kirkland Warren, the same man a judge had ordered to keep his distance. The same man who had already shown just how dangerous he could be. So here's the question that should haunt all of us. What happens when you do everything the system tells you to do, and it still isn't enough? Mishi didn't stay silent. She reported the abuse. She went to court. She got the restraining order. She followed every step we tell domestic violence survivors to take. And just weeks before she disappeared, Warren had been arrested for shooting at her apartment building. Think about that. He fired a gun at the place where she and her daughter lived. He was arrested, and then he was back out.
Apparently you're here because it's alleged that Jefferson County, Arkansas wants you to be extradited there to stand charges of murder, it looks like.
Mishi Melendez was a mother trying to protect her child. Layla Stewart was 7 years old. 7, an age when your biggest worry should be homework or what's for dinner, not whether you're safe in your own home. These were real people with real lives, and they deserve better than what came next.
It's a lovely day to go to the gym and see my best friend's ass.
The timeline is devastating. Restraining order issued. Warren released. Then they're gone. The community searched. Families prayed. Investigators worked around the clock. And what they eventually found in a rural area near Washougal, Washington would confirm everyone's worst fears. This isn't just another crime story you watch and forget. This is a system failure we need to understand. This is about the brutal, often deadly gap between a piece of paper that says you're protected and the reality of actually being safe.
Jefferson County Sheriff Lafayette Woods says Warren did not appear to have any red flags that would have alerted authorities that he needed more restrictions to his bail conditions. He had a notable family in the area, wasn't considered a flight risk, and he did not have a criminal history.
What I know about the family, well respected, it does not speak in that time to be an individual that would have been capable of committing such a heinous crime.
Because here's the truth domestic violence experts have been screaming for years. Leaving an abuser is often the most dangerous time. And Mishi's story proves why. Before we go further, have you or someone you know ever felt unsafe even after getting a restraining order? Share your experience in the comments. Your voice matters. And someone out there might need to hear they're not alone. Stay with us as we break down what happened. Hear from those who covered this case, and talk about what we can all learn from this tragedy. This is Mishi and Layla's story, and we're going to tell it the way it deserves to be told.
The two were last seen in this neighborhood near Northeast 77th Avenue and Vancouver Mall Drive in Vancouver, of course. And the person who was with them was Mishi's boyfriend, who is now a person of interest in this case.
There's always somebody that knows something.
A plea for information about Mishi Melendez and Layla Stewart. The Vancouver mother and daughter have been missing for more than a week. Family is beyond concern.
It's been since last Sunday since anybody heard, seen, or talked to my daughter and granddaughter.
I'm missing a whole part of me. It's my sister and that's my niece. We don't know where they're at.
Mishi and Layla were last seen on March 12th near Northeast 77th Avenue and Vancouver Mall Drive. According to court documents, a friend saw the two with Miché's boyfriend, Kirkland Warren. The friend says Miché was unconscious and naked from the waist down.
There was a restraining order against him, a protective order for him to stay away from her.
It all stems from an incident back in December. Warren's accused of shooting up Miché's apartment on Northeast 66th Avenue. Police arrested him, and despite scoring high on a danger assessment, partly because of a pending murder case in Arkansas, Warren bailed out of jail. He did so without an electronic monitoring device, which is recommended for suspects in domestic violence cases.
He's obviously has some issues, and why would we want that kind of a person out on the street?
Regardless, Warren was arrested again and in court Tuesday, where a judge set bail at $1 million and ordered GPS monitoring should Warren bail out again. This is for violating parole and contacting Miché after the alleged shooting and right before her and her daughter's disappearance.
Does the family think he's involved in this?
Completely.
But Warren is allegedly refusing to talk to authorities about Miché Melendez and Layla Stewart, a mother and daughter who've been missing for far too long.
I'm trying to stay strong. I don't really know how to feel, how to deal with it.
Trusting in the universe, you know, and trusting that, being optimistic that, you know, we'll find them and they'll be brought home safe.
After days of searching, police made a tragic discovery today. They say two bodies found in a rural area near Washougal are believed to be those of a missing 27-year-old mother and her 7-year-old daughter.
Authorities say they were last seen back on March 12th. Fox 12's So Young Kim is live tonight in Washougal with the very latest in this case. So Young.
Nora, Pete, deputies say the two bodies were found here this morning in this rural area of Washougal, down an embankment, a devastating end to days worth of searching and holding on to hope. The family's search for their missing loved ones has now turned to grief.
The family is devastated. They've lost a daughter and a granddaughter.
The Clark County Sheriff's Office says they responded to this area near Southeast Sunset View and Wooding Road in Washougal Wednesday morning, just before 10 o'clock, for reports of someone saying they saw mannequins. When deputies arrived, they say they discovered two bodies just off this road down an embankment. Vancouver police detectives say they do believe it's missing mom and daughter, 27-year-old Miché Melendez and 7-year-old Layla Stewart.
Layla would always make you feel good if you were crying. She can't wipe your tears now.
Investigators say Miché and Layla were last seen on March 12th with person of interest, 28-year-old Kirkland Warren. Officials say Warren was arrested on Sunday for charges he was facing before their disappearance, which include violating protection orders involving Miché and unlawful possession of a gun. According to court documents, Warren also has a case in Arkansas where he's being charged with murder and abuse of a corpse. An advocate who is helping the family navigate this situation says she feels not enough was done to protect them.
I'm pissed. This didn't have to happen. We fight so hard for the victims, and the judicial system needs to protect the victims who have protective orders.
Today here in court, Kirkland C. Warren pleaded not guilty. Outside of court, family friends of the victims tell us they think domestic violence victims deserve more protection.
Is that correct, Mr. Warren? You'd like to enter a not guilty plea today? Not guilty pleas received.
Kirkland Warren faces murder charges for the deaths of Miché Melendez and Layla Stewart. Family friends told us they felt disgusted watching today's appearance.
We just want justice for the girls. And DV is real. Domestic violence is real.
They think there should be more protection for domestic violence victims in Southwest Washington. Court documents I got reveal Melendez had reported physical abuse and threats in the past from Warren. He's also a wanted man in an Arkansas murder case.
We've had a ton of domestic violence victims just in the last 6 months in this county that weren't protected. They're not protected. DV has never really been taken seriously. The restraining orders are false security blankets. He was released with no GPS in the first place. We're angry.
A spokesperson for the family tells us the funeral for the mom and daughter is scheduled for Wednesday. It's private and not open to the public. She says it will be closed casket, and the two will be buried together.
It is really hard right now because in a moment like this, Michelle would be my rock.
Treasure the memories that I will always have of them, and my sister lifted me up all my life. Now it's my turn to lift them.
A white casket with pink chiffon lining carried the mother and daughter together, paid for with community donations and organized by the National Women's Coalition Against Violence and Exploitation. Each aspect of the funeral was carefully curated for the pair.
I love you guys! I love you, Michelle and Layla! That's forever, long live!
I just wanted to say I love you, Layla and Michelle, and just continue to watch over us.
They'll always be the life of the party, and we're always going to live in our hearts forever.
Printed on programs and T-shirts was the phrase, "Too beautiful for Earth." Together forever, side by side, the Vancouver mother and daughter were laid to rest, but never forgotten.
He watches over me.
So now you've heard from people who covered this case, who saw the evidence, who watched this tragedy unfold in real time. Let's talk about what actually happened and what it means. The discovery was as horrific as everyone feared. Mishi Melendez and 7-year-old Layla Stewart were found dead in a rural area near Washougal, Washington. Both had been shot in the head. But the nightmare didn't end there. Evidence presented in court revealed that before Layla was killed, she had been sexually assaulted. Let that sink in for a moment. This wasn't just murder. This was a complete and total destruction of innocence. Kirkland Warren didn't just take Mishi's life in an act of rage or control. He committed unspeakable acts against a child. A 7-year-old girl who trusted the adults in her life to keep her safe. From the moment they disappeared in March 2023 to the discovery of their bodies, investigators worked to build an airtight case. The evidence pointed exactly where everyone already knew it would. Straight to Kirkland Warren, the man who had already shown his capacity for violence. The man who was supposed to be legally barred from going anywhere near them. Fast forward to October 2024. Kirkland Warren stood in court and pleaded guilty. Not because he suddenly found a conscience, but because the evidence against him was overwhelming. The charges: aggravated first-degree murder, second-degree murder, and first-degree child molestation. The sentence: life in prison without the possibility of parole. Prosecutors made it clear during the proceedings that Mishi had been actively seeking protection from Warren before the murders. She had done everything right. She had asked for help. She had gone through the legal channels. And still, she and her daughter ended up dead. Mishi had a restraining order. On paper, she was protected. In reality, that piece of paper meant nothing to a man who had already fired shots at her home. And this is the gap we don't talk about enough. The restraining order tells an abuser, stay away. But what happens when they don't? What's the actual enforcement? What's the immediate response when someone violates that order? Research and advocates in the domestic violence space have been sounding the alarm for years. Leaving an abuser is statistically the most dangerous time for victims. Violence doesn't magically stop when the relationship ends. In fact, it often gets worse. The abuser loses control, and for someone like Warren, losing control meant escalation. It meant going from shooting at a building to taking 2 lives. Warren's arrest for the shooting should have been a massive, blaring red flag. He had shown he was willing to use a weapon. He had shown he didn't care about consequences. And yet, he was released. He had access, and he used it to commit murder. This case isn't an outlier. It's part of a pattern that domestic violence advocates see over and over again. Intimate partner violence claims lives every single day in this country. Children get caught in the crossfire, used as weapons, or worse. And the justice system's response is almost always reactive, not preventive. We wait for something terrible to happen, and then we act. By then, it's too late. What state or country are you watching from? Does your area take domestic violence seriously enough? Are restraining orders enforced with real consequences? Or are they just paper? Let us know in the comments, because this conversation needs to happen everywhere. Now, let's get to the part that actually matters. What can we learn from this? What are the real takeaways that might actually save a life? If you're in a dangerous situation right now, please hear this. A restraining order is one tool, but it's not a complete solution. You need a safety plan that goes beyond the legal paperwork. That means having escape routes planned out, safe places to go where your abuser doesn't know about, trusted friends or family who know what's happening and can help at a moment's notice, money set aside if you can manage it, important documents in a safe place. And if your abuser has been violent before, especially if they've used weapons, you have to assume they will do it again. That's not paranoia. That's survival. Trust your gut. If you feel unsafe, you are unsafe. Don't let anyone tell you you're overreacting. For friends and family watching this, if someone you love tells you they're in danger, believe them. Take every threat seriously, even if the victim seems to downplay it. Sometimes people minimize the danger because they're scared or because they've been conditioned to think it's normal. Your job is to offer real support. Not just, I'm here if you need me, but actual, concrete help. Help them make a safety plan. Check in on them regularly. If they need to leave, help them leave safely. Let me close with this. Mishi Melendez fought to protect herself and her daughter. She stood up. She reported the abuse. She got the restraining order. She did everything society tells victims of domestic violence to do. And it wasn't enough. She deserved better. 7-year-old Layla Stewart deserved to grow up. She deserved safety, happiness, and a long life ahead of her. Instead, her life was stolen before it really began. We say their names. We tell their story. We keep having these hard conversations until something changes. Because this didn't have to happen. Mishi tried to do everything right, and the system that was supposed to protect her failed. We owe it to her. We owe it to Layla. We owe it to every victim of domestic violence to keep pushing for better, to keep demanding accountability, and to never stop believing survivors when they say they're in danger. If this story moved you, hit that like button and share it. Awareness saves lives. Subscribe for more stories that matter and conversations that count. And remember, if you or someone you know needs help, reach out. It's never too late to ask for support. There are people who will believe you, who will help you, and who will stand with you. Thank you for watching. Stay safe. Look out for each other, and we'll see you in the next one.